Hello. Welcome to another exciting LinkedIn Live session, this time on lineage and the best practices regarding implementing lineage. We are joined by our founder and CEO, Sharad Varshney. Hi, Sharad. Welcome to.
Hey Gautham, how are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited to learn more about lineage from you. So I have a lot of questions. So let's dive
Eagerly,
into it.
I'm also very excited about this session. This session would be good.
Yeah. Please feel free to use the chat to put your questions. We are more than happy to pull up those questions and go over them. I think the first question that pops into my mind is what is data lineage? Because you have like business lineage, technical lineage.
So it's a very good question. Is that like what exactly it is? So it's a basically record of entry which tells you that where the data come from, where it goes, right? When we say is where it come from, that means that, like obviously the data get originated when people type the application in some of the application, and then they type some information. It goes to applications databases. From applications databases, or maybe like social media, I'm doing some work, I'm doing interaction. A human is doing some interaction with a machine. It creates data. So journey starts from there, and after that you basically go and massage the data. You kind of transform the data to do some analytics on it, or maybe do some integrations with one data to another data, and data move from one system to another system. And as they move the data from one system to another system, understanding that and keeping the record of that how this system is moving, that is what the data lineage is. And now the system do not just move uh, by the, like, of course it moves by from technology to technology, right? It has the data stored in databases mostly, and from the databases it goes to data warehouse using ETL technology, some sort of thing, and then goes to reporting system, AI models, and then from there it get consumed back to application or to dashboard reporting mechanism or some sort of AI models or some sort of a back consumption technique. That's where the data get consumed again. So this whole entire journey is data lineage, from source to all the way destination, and sometimes the destination may be the source back again, but that's the journey is data lineage. And then we can have two kind of lineage at the very high level. This is generally we consider as a technical lineage, how did it come from, where it goes. And then the business lineage is how is the business process is converting it. What are the business processes involved in changing the data and altering the data, not just the technical processes but the business process. And that's what the business lineage is. So I think kind of it's those are the data lineage at a very high level, if you want to understand this.
Got you. And what are some of the benefits of having data lineage?
Yeah. So I see, like, why do we need it, right? That's the question. Is like,
Yes.
why should we keep the record of everything? All the data is moving. So we don't used to keep it earlier, right? So this is a new concept, the data lineage. Only if you say 5 years back or 6 years back, maybe 10 years back, if you go, data lineage was not the concept as much in any industry, was not there. It started because Sarbanes-Oxley law came in first time, and it says that every transaction which you report to Wall Street, every transaction which the banking financial information came in, and then they say every transaction, every financial information which you report to Fed need to have a track record where the data come from, where it goes. Because in banking regulation, in Enron case as well as other cases, people made some problem making made some data changes during the time, and when the reporting they did it to Wall Street and the reporting they did it to Fed was not consistent. So federal authorities as well as they created a law which asks the various agencies, which is mostly the banks and publicly listed companies, to keep the record of that. So that's where basically the origin of the data lineage started, and companies started keeping the record of it, where the data come from, where it goes, but did not keep the record of every data element. They keep the record of only the few data element which is critical data which they are reporting to, right, at the very first step. But figuring out the data, where it come from, where it goes, at the early on, like 10 years ago, it was very complex. In fact, one of the report in McKinsey listed have found that a global bank have invested somewhere about $100 million to build the data lineage, because at that time it used to be super expensive to find where the data come from. You have to investigate, you have to figure it out, and then you kind of like you're asking hundreds of developers where did this come from, where that come from. It was a whole project. People were spending time, and there was no technology available. And as soon as the requirement become bigger and bigger, now the technology started coming in, and the various technologies started happening, and then people started finding a more and more use case for the data lineage. Now the data lineage is becoming a fundamental thing for every business, that they need to keep the data lineage. And there are various benefit of the data lineage. The number one is started from the compliance. That is number one. Then it's also used to build a trust in the data. So the business people, like, as the compliance people, want to understand where the data come from because they could trust the report. But they even the business people, the line of business, from the credit side or from the risk side or from any part of the business where they want to make the decisions on the data, they want to also understand where the data come from the line of business perspective. So they also need a data lineage. And then the data quality is a bigger component always. So they also need data lineage to understand where the data come from, where it goes, so they can do some root cause analysis to understand where it is. And it is really the objective of the data lineage is not just as the lot of tools started emerging into the market, and we started helping this data lineage path. What it helped is to understand you can immediately identify the source, you can immediately identify the destination, and it helped to find a lot of use cases like impact analysis, etc., etc. A lot more use cases are started emerging, and helping customers to build the trust in the data. So if at the very high level, the compliance is the number one use case for the data lineage, the building trust in the user community is the second use case, improving the data quality is the third use case, right? And then in the entire process of that is even more and more use cases like impact analysis, etc., which is helping in all three dimensions as well, are the larger level use cases are there for kind of like why we need a lineage.
Got it. So to quickly summarize, you're saying that it came from that banking industry, from compliance perspective, and then lineage is like very complicated. And you're saying that, according to this McKinsey report, you have to spend like thousands and thousands of dollars to build it. And once you are able to get that visual representation of the flow of the data, you will improve your data quality because you're able to trace and view the source of your data. And that's how you're building trust. And then now we are also seeing many other use cases like impact analysis, data literacy. So
Yes.
building on that.
So one thing I would just correct it here is that
Okay.
it used to cost millions of dollars earlier.
Mhm.
Now with the availability of tools and technology, it doesn't cost you that much, and that's why the lot more use cases are coming in.
Gotcha. Maybe can you elaborate on that? Like, how do the current technologies work in building that auto lineage that
So
we're talking about?
yeah, so earlier back in old days, I remember that visiting a customer, 5 years ago, and they had a whole basically in a conference room. They had the one wall. Actually, they have put it a whiteboard there, and they were like, okay, where it's come from. Everybody used to come and explain this is what he said. So you used to draw this manually, and it used to take like 3 months. It took her to present it on a wall and kind of figure out the where for one model where the data was coming from, because I have to investigate a lot of time.
Mm.
It used to, so that's why I'm saying the report which I was mentioning is cost $100 million for a bank, a global bank, to build that kind of like the visual flow for entire spectrum for compliance reason, obviously. But then they said like the technology started emerging, and now the technologies are some of the technology which are there is like parsing the source code,
Mhm.
um, which is the number one. Like, so because ultimately the data is moved by some sort of a ETL program or reporting system or some sort of a program which is moving the data from one source to another source, which is the I would say source of truth. So OvalEdge technology is there, that which basically can parse the source code and can find where the data come from, where it goes, and can kind of give you the visual representation automatically.
Mm-hmm.
right? So that is the one way. That's the easiest way of building the data lineage. um, and earlier people also use, okay, they need a some sort of a, okay, this is my source, this is my destination, I know it, can you just help me to just do the field mapping, column mapping? So there is a lot of other ways as well to simplify the lineage building, like from AI perspective, etc., to kind of give you the, like, okay, this column looks same, so this may be coming from here. That is also another technique to understand the data lineage. But also other techniques are, when the data move from one system to another system, you move this entry to the some sort of a log file and audit
Mm-hmm.
entries. Because then you can parse those audit log, and then you can also create the lineage if the audit logs are available. Now every technology do not provide that technique. Some
Mm-hmm.
only does it, some do not do it. Like, so it depending upon the connector to connector, ETL system to ETL system, reporting system to reporting system, whether they are providing those technologies and in the audit phase. Then you have a like those are the mu one, and then you have a AI ways. AI is like, okay, I put generally the source code is the one which put it there, but also sometimes the log files are also there. The log files doesn't have like exact entry which is the source and destination mentioned in the log file, but some sort of a entry is there. I inserted data into this table from this table, right? So that you understand what exactly the log is, and from that you build trying to interpret the lineage.
Mm-hmm.
So because there are so many technologies and there are so many dispersed systems are there, for that the technology is the answer to kind of figure out the insights from this and build the lineage there. So there are, as I said, that there are multiple technologies and multiple way of parsing and figuring it out now
Mm-hmm.
exist in the in OvalEdge platform, as well as some other platform might be available, which can take this and build a lineage.
Gotcha. So, to those who are just joining us, so we're just talking about how different technologies work on building lineage. So, I think at a high level, you told about three technologies. One is like leveraging AI to look at the patterns, another is like the data transformations that happen through the ETL tools. So, you're able to parse the source code, and other is through the log files, because as long
Yeah.
as it almost reminds me of 10-15 years ago when we did not have Google Maps, and if you had to go somewhere, you literally had to ask people. And now it's all about like, I don't even know where my house is, like I just so
I think you have nailed it. I think this is a Google map of data. I think it look different, but it is exactly like that way.
I know.
Um, and you believe me not, it took a long time for Google to figure out the map. Like they literally have to trace each and every road. They put it a lot of uh, spending to figure out that where the roads are, where the things are. The curation of that, it took say quite, and they use multiple technologies. Like
Hmm.
first they bought some company to kind of which have the existing map, then they send the all this what do you call it, this van which capture this information, and now they use the real time mobile devices to capture it. But ultimately
Hmm.
what they're doing is they're mapping the entire system. The same thing is we are doing in the data lineage, is that we are mapping how the data is moving regarding by finding the multiple complexities of the whatever is available, right?
Yep.
Because we can't ask government to, when they create the rate register, to the Google map, right? That's not happening, right? So the Google have to figure out the way to doing it. Is I think this is a very right way to understand the complexity of it and the technology smartness of that, to
For
understand the
sure.
data lineage.
And I've worked with customers and I've seen like OvalEdge parse like millions of nodes. Each node is like a table. And then like we take it so much for granted, just like we take Google Maps for granted. But then there's like so much complexity that goes behind that. Yeah, hopefully anyone who uses OvalEdge will appreciate the incredible technology we are relying on to build that. So Sharad, we do have some questions, so let me pull up some of those here. So this is a question from Lalit. It's asking, how can we ensure data lineage is up to date all the time?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And how do we ensure that? So you need a data validation, lineage validation program, right? Because um, the first thing is that whenever your so ETL pipeline is changing, right? You need a alert, some sort of a system to understand whether, hey, this pipeline changed, something is moved around it. So in OvalEdge, we have a technology which we crawl like almost every day or every week. You can crawl the source system, you can crawl the destination systems, you can crawl the ETL technology, and you are basically crawling everything. So you know what is changing, what is not changing, right? So because we crawl, we have those features available which tells you that, okay, this is changing. And what is changing, you again parse them, understand what is changing, and figure out, is this data changed and the linear change. Since automatic, it kind of trace automatically for that. But there is certain part within even though this is all the functionality is automatic, there may be some fine nuance detail which might be missing, right? uh, that is where I think the last mile, something you need is some sort of a validation part to ensure that where the human have to validate, yes, the all the source and destination, whatever things are moving, is being validated against it. So um, it's a program, just like use, I think, the Google Map. I will again use it. Like if you go to my hometown, that information is still not there it's because it's a remote part of India. Google have not invested to go the van into my remote town, right? So that is still information is not available, but this mainly roads are available, but not at the street level or my hometown. It's not available. But if you go to America, every windward, every neighborhood is mapped. But in India, every neighborhood is not mapped yet. Similar to that, like how much deeper you want to go to make sure your lineage is available, that the investments you have to make in terms of not only the technology but also people to validate that part.
Gotcha. And just to build on that, I know that in OvalEdge, at least, whenever you crawl a data source, you can also schedule to automatically build lineage. So if there are any new code changes, right, that is automatically parsed, and you'll get the latest lineage showing up. So that's something that OvalEdge provides. And and there are a lot of questions on AI, Sharad,
Mhm.
so we can dive right into that. And this is again from Lalit. He's asking about, are you leveraging Gen AI to draw dynamic lineage or any other custom solutions?
Yeah, so I think we are definitely using generative AI to find the insights in the lineage. The one thing is that like source code already knows that where the data come from, where it goes, right? Because it is actually moving, taking the data and moving it. So that is to understand that we don't need Gen AI capability. Gen AI capability is needed to understand that how the what the formula is, right? Like so, for example, you're taking 5 tables and some sort of a complex transformation and is happening, and then moving it to one column, right? So for example, the price and quantity and some sort of a complex formula is there and moving it to it. Now we are leveraging Gen AI to actually take this complex transformation which is written in pure XML or Java language to make it into English format, right? That is where we are using generative AI to kind of understand this. But by just creating the lineage or just mapping things, you don't need generative AI because that's information is already there. So that's how we are leveraging the Gen AI capability to, no, I would say they're not dynamically lineage building, but building is already there, but kind of understanding a better part on top of it. We are using
Got you.
Gen AI.
So Gen AI is more like, a way to communicate. You still need your, SQL parsing algorithms to actually parse the source code. But if you want to, like, talk in an interactive way and ask questions and then get answers, that's where you want to leverage in AI.
Yeah.
So
So
another
SQL parsing,
follow.
XML parsing, ETL parsing. There are other parsing as well. I don't want to just go to the SQL parsing alone.
Yes. Yep. Another question on AI, Sharad. So this is from Jaime. With the usage of AI, are we at the risk of losing data lineage reliability? And how can such reliability be validated for consistency?
That's exactly, I said the first answer is that yes, AI should be not be used to understand the lineage. AI should be used to communicate the lineage, right?
Mhm.
So the communication can be like, okay, the formula can be wrong, The interpretation can be a little bit wrong, but that's okay. But at least we will know that what is the source of truth is, right? And if we should map the lineage, we are not leveraging the AI technology, and we should not leverage AI, because AI will not be able to communicate, will be not be able to figure out all the sources which is the data takes it from. So that's why the parsing is the right mechanism for that. And then communicating the parsing to the business user, the AI is the right technology. And again, I want to make sure that we understand the difference between those two, because mostly people do use the word AI, and then they just, oh, AI will do everything. It's not that. So there is a code parsing, which is a, and you can't go wrong with the code parsing, because it is like how the source code understands the data, or and then how they move it.
Got you. So
So
yeah,
I would just make sure that the reliability is going to be consistent if we use this mechanism. If we use AI to do the code parsing also, then yes, we will lose the reliability, that aspect.
yeah. So be smart about using AI. That's what you're saying.
Yes. Yeah.
Got you. So let's dive into another question. Let's see. So this is from, okay, LinkedIn user. Do you know if there is a technology that can really do data lineage after reading the code? You need to fix it manually after understanding all the workflow. Yeah, I think we answered this question, but I think one thing we may have not answered is like, can we also manually modify the lineage?
I think the every technology is not 100%. I would say that, even I would not say that our OvalEdge technology is 100%. It's just the use cases. Again, we would have imagine that, like as you say, that this is as complex as Google Map is. Even Google Map is not 100% all the time. Sometime at the last mile delivery it get wrong, right? But you don't pay for it, and you don't pay for directly there, so you don't worry about it. Similar to that, the data lineage technology cannot be 100% all the time. You have to kind of, because at this point of time, maybe 3 years down the line it will be 100%, but as of today it is still 90%, 95%, 99%, depending upon the maturity. And then but you always have to have a manual override. Like AI is not 100%. Like I have my Tesla, which always goes here and there, right? And then, but you have a manual override always. So even at this point of time, the technology of the AI and everything, we should doing 100% on. Even the code parsing is also not 100%. 90 to 99% is where, and the last 1% to 10% is your manual work, which might require. So I think this is the what exactly what this LinkedIn user is saying is the right thing. But I just want to explain that we are like, at its OvalEdge technology is much further than all our competitor technology in that space. It's like far more further. We are probably at Tesla's level, while other people are at General Motors level, which even doesn't in the market yet.
Yeah, awesome. And obviously they can take a demonstration and then just compare. So let's dive into another question, Sharad. So which tools provide technical column lineage based upon the extent we want and not give all the lineage from source code? Okay. Colibra, as an example, gives, however, I would like you to control it based on same parameters. I guess they don't want lineage for everything. They want to configure.
Yeah, so I think that again, OvalEdge have all the features and functions which is needed by doing the column lineage at the level, right? So the one thing is that once you parse it, you have to keep that information and keep it at the system. Now, how do you want to represent to the business users? That is up to your use case. But actually, you need to capture all the way to the technical level where you can keep it at the column level. If you want to present to the business users, and at the only the object level, that OvalEdge already have a feature which you can only see the at object level. If you want to see the attribute level, you can see at the attribute level. Even we have a feature you see at the very database level, like at the very very high level, you can also see it. So I think the representation can be at the variety of level, but the capturing of the lineage have to be done at the column level, where you can actually understand the detail of it. And the code parsing doing it is doing that. And I think the thousands or millions of working tables is what we are supporting anyway right now. We have hundreds of thousands of table in our databases where you can kind of crawl through it, and then you can see the lineage from 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 all the way source to the destination. And again, I know Colibra, because this one is using it, they bought a company to build this, and I don't think they're integrated very well yet. But the OvalEdge is everything is built in out of, like, we have done our own lineage, our own data catalog, and everything is well integrated in one platform compared to our competitor who have kind of bought a couple of companies together and trying to stitch things. And again, I will take the map example again. It's like a trying to integrate the tom kind of map with a camera, and it's not going to work really well. You need to go up, like create an iPhone kind of system where it can support of everything out of the box. So this is people have a lot of problem with the technology which was not designed to build the lineage out of the box, and being configured there, they're getting frustrated because of that.
Got you. And just to add on to that, Sharad, when you're using OvalEdge, I'm talking about this question, you are able to use regular expressions and then configure which data sources you want to crawl. And then you can also select the source code and build lineage only for those selected source code. So you have a lot of flexibility in selectively building lineage. Maybe you want to start building lineage only for your critical data assets. You can do that as well. So
wonderful.
How's this? Okay, perfect. So a lot of questions on AI, and I want to continue this topic. What role do you think lineage plays in AI governance?
So AI governance is a area which is evolving, because not many AI models in the market yet, which is really adding the business value. So lineage will be a crucial component of AI governance, because um, the one thing which is very critical for any AI model which will do and will create it out and then create the output, because nobody understands what's happening in that AI, right? We understand what is happening in the source code, but AI is actually is a black box. We train the model, then we expect the answer to come, and what's happened underneath it, I think that nobody understand that part, that how it works. Even nobody understand our human works, how our brain works. They kind of put it the neural network into it and then kind of created this. So this black box and getting the understanding from this black box is going to be, at this point of time, the current technologies are going to be impossible. So the AI governance going to play a very important role by considering this black box and what the data coming into this and what the data coming out of it. So when you are training the model, at that time you have to create whether this data which is going to the AI model, does it have any PII data? Does it have any data which can be subject to some bias? And the bias can be the racial bias, gender bias, educational bias, right? So there are a variety of bias based on the laws, right? The laws are obviously very strict about gender bias, about the racial bias. So you have to make sure the data which you are feeding is not biased. This is where AI is going to be used to understand the bias within the data, right? But with the black box, understanding the lineage from there might not be important as much as where the data come from. But you need to keep the model, that what data, when you created the model, what data you have used it to train the model, then what data you are using to kind of to ask the question and then give the answers to the AI model. But so keeping the record of every data model which you are putting into it, because right now you think that this data which you are feeding is not have the gender bias, but going forward, when you realize the AI model have a gender bias, you want to go back to is what data which you use to train it. You need to have the record of it, and that's what the lineage is going to play a very important role here. So lineage lineage will be the most important component for the AI governance, and this is how it's going to be used in my understanding. Again, this area is evolving. This is not AI governance. There is only one little law by European Union has been passed. America have not passed any law. US has not passed. India have not passed any laws. So there is no kind of a best practices available yet for AI governance. Even everybody's figuring out right now. So everybody has some sort of a ideas that how the AI should be governed.
Gotcha. So to quickly summarize, you may be using like really cool AI, but it may be introducing bias. And then how do you actually trace back the models or the actual tables and data sets that are being used? And that's where Lineage plays a, integral role, because you're able to say that, okay, I'm using these sample data, and then you are able to evaluate that. Makes sense. So another question, Sharad, and this is about, I think we talked a lot about Lineage. Do you recommend any best practices while building Lineage?
Yeah. So best practices is that first thing is, of course, identify your key critical data element. That
Mhm.
where do you want to build the lineage, right? Start from the side that which is the right hand side, your analytics, your AI model, which is business critical. And what do you identify business critical? Because everything is business critical. I have a very good hypothesis on that, is that where your data is directly proportional to your business outcome, right? So for example, data is directly proportional means that when you chosen a information for your business decisions, for example risk. If the risk is 10.1, that means that it's a very high risk. If it's 10.2, that means it's another high risk, and my liquidity is going to be affected by that risk. Or I am using this data for a understanding of this like overall number. For example, Netflix recommendation, it is also a AI model which is creating the recommendation. But if the recommendation is wrong, I don't care that much, because this
Mhm.
is all right. But if my risk is wrong, my business is going to suffer. My bank is may shut down, right, by tomorrow, because a lot of banks shut down because they didn't calculate the risk properly. So if your decisions are very critical, that's where that means they're the high priority item. So start with the high priority item
Mhm.
to build the lineage, and that is the priority item. And then you start building by parsing the source code of those, parse the source code, build out and build the lineage for this, and keep going left by that item, right? So keep going left to all the way to the source system. So identify critical data element, build the lineage for them first, and then keep going by criticality and keep building the lineage. That is the very simple and easy way to understand that how to build the lineage uh, for for any data elements there.
Got it. And we do have a comprehensive blog about the best practices in Lineage. So, and it's the link is posted in the chat. So feel free to check it out. So, Sharad, moving on. Um, One question that I have for you is, so we talked about AI governance. We also talked a little bit about data quality. So I know there are like several data quality tools. Uh, and how does Lineage work with data quality? Do you have some comments on that?
Yeah. So the data quality is an ultimately outcome of data lineage. So we spend so much money on building the data lineage, let's say for compliance reason.
Mhm.
Can we leverage it for data quality benefit, right? Data quality is always a problem for the business. Every line of business say that my data quality is not good. Like I have not seen any line of business saying from any company that say, oh, my data is very high quality, I just can do everything. Like it's not happening. I have not found it yet anybody. So it requires a comprehensive structural change in our thinking, how we capture the data, how we transform the data, and how we reduce the data. And it's not going to happen in day one, because you already have an existing business running and you want to keep that running. So the data, then if you trace everything into this, you can actually implement data governance improvement, data quality improvement life cycle. And lineage plays a very important role to find the root cause of the data, because you can see the data where it's coming from, you can find the root cause. But the most important part is collaborating with the right stakeholder. So for example, let's take an example that you have a file coming from California, and this file comes and goes to the data center in India, like the person is basically maintaining is in India, right? And that file comes in and it goes to a complex supply chain model, like this is demand supply, and the file got late somehow, and the model is running. So, and then he was not able to load the file. Now, if the data quality rule is going to, or the file is not able to load, it will create alert for the operation team, and the operation team will say, okay, I will fix it because the file is not able to come today. I will fix it tomorrow. But in the meantime, the model ran, and what it produced, the output is incorrect because the file is not able to load because some demand might be offset. But this person on the which is sitting in probably in Virginia, and the business person have no idea that the file in the person in the operation center in India got problem. Right? There's no way to collaborate that, because if 10,000 employees are there in a company, even 100 people are there in the company, there's no way to collaborate to tell everybody that, hey, my file got lost. Report to 100 people is not going to happen. Now, if you have a data lineage which can identify, okay, this data is going from this places, and there are 10 users which is going to be impacted by that, you can immediately find and say, hey, this is the problem here. I am creating an alert here, and this 10 user get notified. So those are the advantage of integrating the data quality with the data lineage. Like there are a lot of tools which can give you, hey, my file failed, and then I have alert, right? But alert through operation team, but what the guy is going to do, operation guy, right? He can just fix it, but he cannot collaborate with those 10 people which are impacted. And that's where the lineage and quality marries, and that's where the real value comes into that.
Got it. So what you're saying is that there are many point solutions for data quality. You can do like file level checks, table level checks, but it's not comprehensive because you really need lineage to do that root cause analysis, identify the source system, and then communicate that to the stakeholders. So I think that's a tip for our customers or prospects who are looking for different vendors. So another question, Sharad, and this is more on the implementation side. So now we understand lineage, we understand the importance of lineage, we understand how it is built. There are different algorithms. You also touched upon some of how AI can be leveraged. Now the question is, who do you think should build the lineage? Like from an implementation standpoint, do you think that's the administrator's role, or like, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I think the business people actually do not know where the data come from, where it goes. Only the IT team or the data team knows where the data come from, because they are the one who maintain the data source code, and they are the one who maintain the application. So it's between the IT and the data team that basically knows the information. So but they don't have enough bandwidth most of the time, because they are overloaded with the burden with other, develop so many reports, etc. But the objective actually of the building the lineage should come under the BI team and the IT team to build together and build the lineage. That should be in my opinion, that should be their priority. And now, and then they need to leverage obviously the AI technology and the OvalEdge technology to build the lineage, to parse the source code and build the lineage. Verification of that can be done by business stakeholders sometime, and can be combined with business stakeholders to the IT team as well, right? So because that, okay, my IT team is there, and then I want to just validate that. Then maybe you can have some sort of we offer offshore service to kind of go and validate the lineage as well. They can have those services part to do the validation aspect of that as well, if a customer want to. But that's how the implementation should be done at that level of kind of like who should implement the lineage.
Got it. So it's more of a technical job, you're saying.
It is from the technical lineage, not the business lineage. We haven't discussed the business lineage aspect, but the technical lineage should be the IT and BI team's job to build the lineage. Yes.
Got it. And I think I get this question a lot, like, yeah, lineage is like great for technical users. Now, can you walk us through an example where a business user, maybe a marketing analyst, or just a data consumer, use lineage and realize value from it?
Yeah. So again, the main thing is for the business users. So as I say, there are the main use cases is compliance. Compliance is you want to ensure that everything is there. This is because of the law, right? So that is, we are taking care of it. The second part is building the trust between the business user community,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the business user community want to really understand where the data come from, where it goes. So let's say I'm a supply chain analyst, and I want to understand all my demand, and I want to understand all my supply, right? And based on the demand and supply, I want to create how many inventory I should order, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
what the supply chain model is all about. So there is a, probably, believe me or not, the supply data is generally very clear, because you know that how much supply you have in your warehouse, not data warehouse, but in your warehouse. So maybe the data from the warehouse might be showing your supply. Your demand data might be coming from, now demand is a forecast. You don't know how much demand is going to be. The forecasting is a model, right? The model, in the sense that, okay, I can develop the demand based on, let's say I can buy some sort of retail data, I can buy some weather forecasting data. Based on that, I'm doing the forecasting for the demand. So since this is a forecasting is a model, like if I don't have a lineage, I only have a number which tells me that, my forecast is 25 million points I have to develop. But why 25.5? Yesterday it was 20 and today it's showing 25.5. Is this a data quality problem, or is this the real fact? What is changed suddenly that my forecast went up, right? Because the impact of that is that he have to, if the supply is limited, he have to order more supplies. So you have to, the plant people need to come up, they need to order more material. There is a whole downstream impact of that. If you think about it, the millions of dollars at stake. So you want to validate that point, that how, why the demand is suddenly high, or what if the demand is low suddenly. So they want to understand and go on, and then go down deeper to understand that, is this a right data quality, is this not a data quality issue, or really the demand is low. So if you just show, IT is just show you a number which comes in the report, and it's just going to show you this number, they're not going to trust it. They're fine with the first time if the number is coming, and suddenly the second day when the number is changing, they cannot trust blindly with that, because the decision making is very, very profound and going to be impacted by that. That is why they want to go to the source system and see, oh, okay, the SAP, the demand is this much, oh, this one is this one, oh, the Walmart is saying that demand will be high because of their demand went up. So they want to understand the real reasoning behind it, that how the drill down of that. And the drill down cannot happen there, right, maybe in the report, because they are seeing the number. They have to go down deeper and understand the report, what is the other data is showing, and investigate further. So as they go to the source system, they might run a query down there, and they say, oh, okay, this is what is happening. So it required not only lineage, but also querying capability to understand
Mm-hmm.
the source system, understand the source system here, and the querying capability there, to really understand the demand forecast, right?
Got it.
So again, it's done the use case to use case, but I took a very simple, concrete example to kind of a one use case to understand the impact of that.
Got it. And going off the use case that you just gave, a business user, at least in OvalEdge, you have collaboration messages where you can notify other users. You have question wall, which is like a Reddit forum where you can ask questions and anyone can respond to that. You also have projects, to track the progress of, lineage building or any governance activities. So I guess like everything is, it's kind of like social networking site for data, and that's why you're kind of like democratizing access to the data and making it easy for everyone to find and understand data. And lineage obviously plays a crucial role because you're showing the map, how everything is connected. Sure,
Exactly.
there are like few questions on OvalEdge's lineage capability, so I'm just gonna bring one of the questions here. So, does OvalEdge parse only the ETL, or does it parse even the
We do
visualization?
almost Tableau parsing, Power BI parsing, Click parsing, whatever the like MicroStrategy parsing. I don't know. There are so many visualization
Mhm.
tool we support. We do support that, and
Got it.
that is the one more differentiator of OvalEdge to our competitor, because they are only doing source code parsing of SQL. They do not do ETLs, and also the visualization tool. I think we are the one of few companies who do actually the ETL, the the reporting system parsing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why it's end-to-end lineage. So we start
Yes.
from your transactional data sources, go through your ETL tools, your data lakes, data warehouses, all the way to your visualization tools so that you get that end-to-end lineage. If it's only partial, then it's not good enough, right? And I get this question many times, like, how is OvalEdge's lineage different from your Unity catalogs, right? Like Databricks. Do you want to elaborate on that, Sharad?
Yeah, so Unity catalog only do Spark parsing,
Mhm.
Spark lineage. That's it, and they don't do the visualization systems, etc., etc. So it is a point solution lineage within like, so your if you have only Databricks ecosystem and don't have any visualization tool, don't have any transaction tool, the data comes into the somewhere and then keep in that system. That is where it is, the lineages. So I think that generally speaking, like you don't say that do we have a lineage in SQL Server alone, right? Because if you see it, so it's a very small point solution, Unity catalog in the end-to-end data lineage.
Mhm.
In fact, we also parse Unity catalog lineage to build the Spark lineage, and then this lineage, because you need a comprehensive picture from source to destination all the time.
Gotcha. Yeah. So again, data governance is like governing your entire ecosystem, while Databricks, that's only for like your cloud data warehouse, and they support lineage only within that. So when you go with data governance tool, you get that entire end-to-end lineage. And we have another question, Sharad, on impact analysis. I know many of our customers use impact analysis. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
So you select your source system tables, and let's say that this table is going to be affected by some upgrades or something. You can add those table to your impacted object. This is like my affected object. This is going to be affected, and then just ask OvalEdge to run some background job, and it's going to find you all the impacted objects, which is going to, because it have a lineage. It tracks everything, but it give you the report of everything that this is going to be affected, and this is at what level is going to be affected. You can do from downstream, you can do upstream. It's upon like how do you want to do it. You can also identify a report and say, okay, tell me everything which is going to be impacted by that, or can have impact on this report. So you can
Mhm.
have all the source system which can have impact on that system, not the all source systems, but actually that attribute at the source system what might have impact on this report, right? Because there may be only three systems, but in each system is big. Maybe a specific table, in a specific table, a specific column or a specific file which might impact. So that every way tracking of that to that level is the what impact analysis work.
Got
And
it.
also the, like a lot of people say, oh, you can go and map it, like Google Map can give you, like you can map through it and can understand it. It's not that. You just run it and then just see the complete report of that. That's how easy it is.
Got it. And I know OvalEdge supports like upstream and both downstream impact analysis also, and many of our customers they use for migration. So if there are any specific code changes, and then it's so hard to find what other data sources are getting impacted. So all you got to do is like run those impact analysis, and you get a list of all the data sources that are going to get impacted, and you can use the projects to communicate to the stakeholders. These are the data sources that are going to get impacted, and you can make corresponding changes. So that's again a very powerful use case for the impact analysis and lineage. I think those are the I think at a high level we covered most of the questions. And I know we touched upon a lot of things. You shared a lot of wisdom with us today. And we also have some blogs that we shared in the chat. And this concludes our session today. I hope you please follow OvalEdge, and then so that we keep posting these LinkedIn live sessions and you're always updated. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. And the one thing I would say, Gautam, that in
Yes.
this session, especially the question were very pointed, and it was
Mm.
very like our audience seems to be very known about the data lineage subject, and they know the detail of that, what the pain. I could feel that they understand the pain which it requires to build the lineage, and they understand that. So I would give a heads off to kind of like our audience, which is kind of very mature in the journey of data governance.
Yep, awesome. Please keep coming back so we'll have more sessions like this. Well, thank you so much, guys. Bye.
Thank you.